Do you remember that cold, hollow sensation in the pit of your stomach? You're standing at a pair of oversized iron gates, clutching a bag that feels too heavy, wearing a blazer that's at least two sizes too big. It's your first day at high school. You don't know anyone. You don't know where the toilets are. You don't know who the bullies are. And you're terrified of breaking a rule you haven't even been told yet. Most people leave that feeling behind them at 16. They find a career, settle into a rhythm, and walk into their workplace on a Monday morning with the confidence of familiarity. But for a growing number of men and women in the UK demolition and construction sectors, that first day trauma isn't a distant memory, it's a recurring nightmare. Because of the industry's obsession with self employment, we've created a workforce of perpetual strangers, men and women who are the new kids every few weeks. Every time a project ends or a contractor decides to trim the fat, that worker is back at the gate, back to being the newbie. The toll that takes on a person's mental health isn't just about money or job security, it's about the sheer grinding exhaustion of a never ending learning curve. It starts in the van or in the lay-by outside the site. You're sat there wondering, does this site prefer orange or yellow? I realise it sounds like a small thing, but if you turn up in yellow high-vis and the contractor has a total orange policy, you failed the litmus test before you've even signed in. You're the odd one out. You're the unprofessional one. You could be sent home unpaid. Then comes the induction. We've all been there. You sit in a freezing ported cabin, staring at a PowerPoint presentation that you've seen 50 times before. But you have to pay attention because every site manager has their own particular and peculiar brand of my way or the highway. And then there's the piss test. For a transient worker, the drug and alcohol test isn't just a safety check, it's an interrogation. You're not worried because you're a user. You're worried because you had a chesty cough and took a spoonful of night nurse on Sunday evening. You're worried that a false positive will blackball you before you even had a chance to prove you can operate the machine. The real danger, however, isn't in the paperwork, it's in the choreography. When a demolition or construction crew works together for years, they become a single organism. They don't need to shout, they don't even really need to talk. The excavator operator knows exactly how his ground worker moves. The ground worker, in turn, trusts the operator's hand. He knows the rhythm of the machine, the swing of the counterweight, and the sound of the engine under load. It's a dance. It's beautiful, efficient, and most importantly, it's safe. But when you throw someone into that mix who doesn't know the steps, you break the dance. You end up with a team of strangers. You have a driver who doesn't trust his banksman and a burner who doesn't know if the lad holding the fire extinguisher is looking at the sparks or looking at his phone. Every move becomes cautious and jumpy. Every task takes 10% longer because you're constantly checking over your shoulder, second guessing the bloke next to you. That jumpiness is a heavy burden to carry for 10 hours a day. It's a mental tax that the bosses never see, but the workers feel in their bones by Friday night. The industry calls this flexibility. They say it's good for the worker. Be your own boss, manage your own tax. But let's be honest, it's a transfer of risk. The employer gets to fire and forget. They don't have to worry about your long-term health, your holiday pay, or your mental state. They just want a unit of labour to show up, do your bit, and disappear. But humans aren't units of labour. We're social animals. We need to belong to a pack to feel secure. By forcing the demolition and construction industry into a gig economy model, we're stripping away the one thing that keeps men safe on high-risk sites, the bond of brotherhood. Is this good for the employers? In the short term, the spreadsheet would say yes. Lower national insurance, no sick pay, no dead wood on the books. But look closer. Look at the productivity loss of a team that doesn't know each other. Look at the cost of the accidents that happen because a stranger doesn't know the site's specific quirks. Look at the performance tax paid every time a seasoned pro has to spend his first 3 days just figuring out who does what. We're treating the most skilled, most dangerous jobs in the country like we're flipping burgers. But you can't standardise a demolition or construction site. Every building is a puzzle and every team is a tool. If you keep changing the parts of that tool, eventually it's going to break. Standing at those iron gates on a Monday morning shouldn't feel like the first day at school when you're 45 years old. It's surely time we stop pretending that temporary is the same thing as efficient. The learning curve in this industry is already steep enough. Nobody should be expected to climb it every few weeks.